So let's start with how do we create a safe virtual space? And I would start by telling you, you have to create a safe space online with the same intention and the same commitment that you use when you build a safe space in your classroom. How many people here start the year with icebreakers, get to know each other activities? Yeah? How many people have a list of expectations, rules, behaviors that you give to kids for when they're in the classroom? Okay? So we all do those things in the classroom, but sometimes teachers get so excited about going online that they forget to do that in the online space, and it's very, very important to do. So what I do with my kids is we go through a very specific list of expectations. I literally give them my do's and don'ts list for online communication. And on the list are, here's what you're going to do online. You're going to compliment your peers. You're going to ask questions. Here's what we're not going to do online. We're not going to use all caps because that means you're yelling. We're not going to criticize someone. We're going to critique their ideas and their posts. And so we go through that with a lot of intention. So we talk about behaviors. We talk about online conduct. Then as an educator, you have to kind of decide this piece for yourself. And that piece is quantity versus quality. So when students go online, do you have a certain expectation for how much they're going to write? Is it going to be a paragraph, a couple of sentences, or do you not care how much they write? Are you only interested in quality? And so you have to decide that for yourself. What are the learning objectives? So it's important to explain to kids, why are we going online? Why are we going to have these conversations? So I tell students, I never have everybody participate in class. I want everyone to have a voice. We talk about how many kids take online courses in college to supplement their in-class courses and the importance of learning how to have academic conversations. And then ultimately, we just have to trust our students and know that if they make a mistake online for our class, that they're probably making those same mistakes online in their other interactions. So we as teachers can use those moments as teachable moments and teach them how to do it better. That's my philosophy. If they're making mistakes, then they're probably making mistakes all over the place online. Let's teach them how to do it better. Okay, so at the beginning of the year, I actually have my students think about, okay, what does it look like to create a community? What would make us feel safe interacting online? So I have my do's and don'ts list, but I also have them come up with their own suggestions. And then they post their ideas. You'll see they're taking pictures of themselves because they love to take pictures of themselves. And they post it online with their ideas for what would make this a good community. What are some expectations we can all agree to as members of this class to make sure that when we interact online, we feel comfortable, we feel respected, we feel supported. So however you engage your students in that process, whether it's giving them Post-it notes and letting them write their ideas and posting them on a wall, or whether you give them a list of do's and don'ts, but you let them add behaviors to that, make it more of a class conversation so there's buy-in. So students want to really kind of behave online and put their best foot forward. For me, when we first start, one of the things that I do is I give students what I call their language training wheels. So most of them, they have interacted online. You know, they text, they instant message, they post things to, social media sites, but they don't have academic conversations. So it's a little awkward for them to respond to each other in a meaningful way. And so I give them a series of sentence starters. And I say, okay, this is what it looks like if you're going to build on somebody else's idea. This is what it looks like if you're going to respectfully disagree with someone, because they don't know how to do that very well. So I'll give them statements like, Rebecca's comment made me think about ... right? Although Zach made a strong point that, I believe, right? So he's going to respectfully disagree with another opinion. I respectfully disagree with Lawrence's assertion because I really appreciate Deborah's comment that I thank you, Manuel, for sharing, and I had not thought of Lee's point, whatever the point is. And at first, it's a little awkward for them using this more formal language with their online communication, but as the year goes on, just a couple weeks into the year, it becomes much more natural. They start to personalize it, make it their own, but I want to really drive home the point that I want you to respectfully disagree. I want you to build on ideas. I want you to ask questions, but personalize your posts. Use each other's names. That is how this is going to really feel like a community. So we're gonna see how this goes. I put together a Google document. It's the same Google document. Every time you see this picture, it will be the same document that you're going to. And this is the URL. It is on the Facebook page also. It is case sensitive. So you want to type it just as you see it. So it's goo.gl/r 7 6 uppercase M uppercase L lowercase g. And it should take you right to a Google document. And the top of the Google document is asking 3 things. And I want you guys to brainstorm together about how you would answer these questions. And you can use one computer at your table, and you can all talk about it and just have one person type. That would work beautifully. So the first question, what do you feel like students need to know about online communication? What do they need to know? Second, if you were going to put together a list of like do's and don'ts, what things would you tell students were okay to do online, and what would you tell them not to do online? And then the last one is how can you teach these communication norms to students? Beyond just giving them a list, what can you do to teach them these things? So I'll come around, and if you're having trouble getting on a document, I know a lot of us will be circulating, but I want to give you about 5 minutes in your groups. If you can't get online for whatever reason, talk about it, right? Talk about the question. So I'll leave them up here.